All right, everybody. My name is Mike Bradley. I'm here with Mr. Nicholas White. This is our Parks and Recreation professional interview series. Um, Mr. White, it's always glad to see you. I hope you know you're one of my favorite people.
You're one
And
of my favorite people, also, Dr. Bradley.
yeah, that's right. I appreciate that. It's something that I've always enjoyed keeping up with you after our time getting our master's degree. So for the folks that don't know you as well as I do, and they should, can you tell us, where you're working, your title, and that kind of stuff?
I work at Missouri University of Science and Technology. You can just call it Missouri S&T. I am the recreation director for our athletics and recreation department on campus.
So, how long have you been there?
This is my 12th year in good old Rolla, Missouri.
That's a long time, man. It's a
I
commitment.
know, I know. They hadn't fired me yet, so let's keep our fingers crossed.
Wait until they see this interview.
Yeah, that might be the nail in the coffin.
uh, so I know you're not originally from that area. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from a small town in Georgia called Waynesboro, also the bird dog capital of the world. We're proud of that. So
Where
I'm a
so
Georgia boy.
where about is that?
So if you follow golf, you've heard of the Masters tournament. Uh, Augusta. Waynesboro is right below Augusta. So
Okay, and it's the bird dog capital of the world.
the bird dog capital of the world.
Fair enough. So that's I didn't know that. So
That's
is
what we're
your
known for.
is your dad still around that area?
Yeah, he still lives there.
All right. Do you get down there a lot or often?
Uh, I usually try and before this past year, at least twice a year.
Yeah. And how do you feel going home? Is that a nostalgic feeling or
Yeah, like when I first went to college, I was like, man, I'm leaving this place. I'm never coming back. And
yeah.
the older I get, I was like, man, I miss Waynesboro.
Yeah.
So
So to kind of dive into your background here, so tell us about where you went to school for your undergraduate and your graduate degrees and what you studied.
so I have an interesting story. My path towards recreation is probably unique for most people. So I originally wanted to be an engineer. I went to a small engineering school outside of Atlanta called Southern Polytechnic State University, where I studied engineering. Uh, for some reason, I did a study abroad in Mexico one summer, and I was like walking. I used to go to the mall like every Wednesday because they showed movies. And they had a movie theater in the mall, so I would go every Wednesday to see a movie in English
Yeah.
because I missed home. And like one day, I was like, I really want to do something that makes me happy, and I've always loved sports, being around sports, working in the rec center during undergrad. So I was like, I want to do something dealing with sports, but I really don't know what I want to do. So my I was close to graduating. I was probably like less than 2 semesters from graduating, and my parents were thought I was crazy, but I decided to graduate and get another degree, get another undergrad degree. So then I went to Kennesaw State University in Kennesaw, Georgia, where I studied sports management there, and
Hmm.
I worked at the rec center, and I worked for the men's basketball program there because I originally wanted to either work in athletics or work in a rec center. I didn't really know which one I wanted to do,
Yeah.
and the basketball program was transitioning into Division 1, so that was a great opportunity to work for a Division 1 program as an undergrad and also work in the rec center.
Yeah.
So I went to a conference. Kennesaw State paid for me to go. Kennesaw State paid for me to go to a conference, and I was like, I'll go to a conference. And I think it was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So definitely, it was my birthday weekend. So I was like, yeah, a paid trip to New Orleans.
All
You
right.
can't beat that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
so when I was there, like if you go to a NRSA conference, they always have a take a student to lunch program, and I went to lunch. Me, myself, and some other undergrad students and graduate students went to lunch with the person that was the director of Ohio State's campus rec program at the time.
Yeah.
And then after meeting him, I knew when I got back to campus that recreation was what I was going to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And campus recreation was what I was going to do for the rest of my life. So and then I went to Western Illinois, and I had to work with this guy named Mike Bradley as
Yeah.
at the rec center.
Questionable people you hang out with.
I know. So yeah, so I went to Western Illinois, and I studied recreation, parks, and tourism administration. And here I am now.
So something you mentioned, that just so because some people may not know, is you talked about NRSA. Could you tell us what NRSA is and what kind of stuff it is involved with that?
NRSA is kind of like the RPTA, I mean, NRPA for campus rec. So
So it's kind of like the professional association for all things
yeah,
campus recreation.
yes, sir.
And so you were involved as a student, and then are you involved as a professional at this point?
Yeah, I'm on a couple committees, couple national committees, couple regional committees. So I still go to extramural tournaments. I'm the old guy now, so
That's all right.
but try to stay involved as much as possible. So
With age comes wisdom, right?
that's what they say.
That's what they say.
I guess I got to get a little bit older.
Yeah. Well, what did you do? I know, but could you tell the whoever's listening what you did at Western Illinois?
I was a graduate assistant for intramural sports. Uh, Worked a little bit of club sports also, and I mean, I love campus recreation. It's probably what I'll do probably for the rest of my life until I decide to retire one day.
Sure.
Hopefully, hopefully I win the lottery, so it'll be sooner than later. But
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
yeah, it's my passion. It's what I love to do. So I love being around the students.
So what are some other jobs you've held that aren't necessarily campus rec or recreation related?
Oof.
Or have you
Not
had? Yeah.
really. Not like my first job was at the rec center. I mean, refereeing intramural sports and at the rec center. That was my first job. And I worked in the factory the summer after my freshman year. And I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. Uh, so pretty much all I've known
Yeah.
is working in the rec center. I worked for, like I said, I worked for Kennesaw State's men's basketball program for 2 years, and I've been around sports my whole life. So, and my
How,
whole professional career has been around sports.
how would you compare? So you talk about working with the basketball program, and I know that's an experience a lot of people do not get. So how would you describe that experience and how it kind of helped you with your outlook or professional development and whatnot?
I mean, everything. I always we always talk about the transferable skills.
Yeah.
Working with coaches, communication skills. I mean, you see how hard they work, so you see how much effort they put in to make sure their teams are successful, their student athletes are successful. So I kind of, I've kind of taken that approach towards the students that work for me. I
Hmm.
mean, make sure that they're successful, not only at work but also in the classroom also. I
Yeah.
think that's important. I always tell my student workers, I mean, you're here. I mean, I appreciate you working for us, but your primary focus is you're here to get a degree. So
Yeah. So when you landed there in Rolla, Missouri, um, what was what position did you start off there, and what did you do?
uh, when I first got here, I was the intramural recreation manager. Uh, I was in charge of intramural sports. So I've kind of transitioned to being in charge of intramural sports to being in charge of the rec center, helping out with our fitness center, uh, helping out with summer camps during the summer. So I do a little bit of everything, recreation wise, on our campus.
How big of a school is S&T?
8,000, a little bit over 8,000 students.
Okay, and so as far as rec programs, what does that translate to as far as like how many leagues and other things that you have going on?
Oh boy, we offer typically offer like 30 events per year, about 15 per semester. So we do five major sports: softball, flag football, and volleyball during the fall, and then typically during the spring when a pandemic's not going on, we do basketball and soccer. Soccer is probably our most popular league. We get over 90 teams signed up for that. So for a campus our size, our participation numbers are amazing. They're through the roof. So
That's what I was gonna say. If you got that many teams for a
yeah,
school size that of that 8,000, 9,000 in that range, so isn't it crazy? So I was telling somebody the other day about, or we were discussing soccer, right? And when I was young, and I don't know if this was way for you as well, is soccer just wasn't a thing. Like
I mean, I'm from the South, so I'm from a small town in the South, so it's definitely not a thing.
right? Like it was baseball, football, and that's about
Yeah,
it. And
and basketball.
yeah, for the winter, you got basket. So it blows my mind on how popular soccer has become, and then like and I'm sure you're feeling this too, is stuff like lacrosse and all that just gaining a lot of popularity.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Go ahead.
we have a lot of international students, and
Yeah,
then we also have a lot of students from St. Louis. And soccer's really popular in St. Louis, and obviously soccer is really popular with the international students. So I think that helps with our participation numbers. So
sure. What so as you think about your transition from a graduate assistant at Western Illinois to your full time position there, whether you started off or whether you're at now, what are some challenges that you faced that if you could give some heads up to other folks about that transition or how to prepare for that?
Ooh, I, for me personally, I feel like being a GA was a lot easier than being a professional
Yeah,
because I mean, you go to class, you're GA, you go to class. I mean, obviously, your graduate school is not easy.
yeah,
But for me, I had an engineering degree, so it wasn't really that difficult. Grad school wasn't that
sure,
difficult for me. Uh, but the day in and day out of being a professional, I mean, you have to hold yourself to a certain standard. And you still, I mean, obviously you have to hold yourself to a standard as a graduate assistant, but it's totally different when you become the boss.
yeah, and everybody's coming in looking at you
Yeah,
for whatever reason,
everybody,
right? Everything
yeah,
from what you're
everybody's
wearing to
asking
what you
questions.
say.
Everybody's asking questions like, man, I guess I got to find the answer to
Yeah.
that.
Let me get back to you. Uh, so tell us a little bit about more about what you do now, what that entails, as far as the day in, day out, or whatever.
Like I said, I'm pretty much in charge of our rec center here on campus. So, and then we have our fitness center. I help out with that also. So it's like scheduling student workers, making sure everything's covered. If we have any work orders that need to be done, make sure uh, any maintenance that needs to be done, make sure that those things are taken care of through work orders. It's it's fun.
When you think, do you ever think about classes you had at the undergrad or graduate level that you're like, oh man, I'm actually using that, or that's actually pretty useful?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of the classes I had at Western were have come in hand. Even the classes I took outside of RPTA, like the college student personnel classes I took,
Sure.
those have come in handy with the learning theory and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I kind of wish I would have took a lot more than what I took, but those things, all experiences that you can find things in every experience that you have that come in handy. Always be developing those transferable skills.
Yeah. So for folks that are whether undergrad or grad or maybe not even in school, but are looking to go into kind of a similar career path and with campus recreation, what are some nuggets of advice you would have as these people try to consider that as a career move?
I think don't paint yourself into a corner.
Yeah.
Try to get different experiences. I mean, with campus recreation, you have facilities, you have aquatics, you have intramural sports, you have club sports, you have fitness, you have personal training. So you have so many different areas in campus recreation that you could specialize in.
Yeah.
But I always recommend people you might want to specialize in one of those areas, but you want to be kind of be a renaissance man or woman and try
Sure.
to get experiences in all those different areas because eventually, hopefully, you don't want to be a coordinator your whole career.
Right.
So eventually, you might want to move up to the management position, and I think there's value in having different experiences in different areas.
Do you, kind of related to that, you talked about you're involved with NRSA. What kind of professional development do you seek outside of where you're at to kind of either help with your current job or as far as your future goals?
I mean, I always volunteer for extramural tournaments. Extramural tournaments are like intramural. If you play intramural sports, you're playing against other students on your campus. But extramural, you're playing against other students on other campuses. And I always try to volunteer with those, and because you get the opportunity to network with different professionals from different universities, and you can sit in the officials training meetings and trying to get like nitpick different ideas that you could bring back to your campus.
Yeah.
So I always try to volunteer because it's a great networking opportunity. It's a great learning opportunity. You can bring stuff back to your campus, and you can also, if you ever decide to move to another university, you have a network of people that you already know that could. With campus recreation with NRSA, we talk about 7 degrees of separation with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
With NRSA is probably like 2 or 3.
Yeah. Sure.
so
Right.
so
Yeah. I mean, because I can't remember the last one I went to. It may have been Minneapolis, which was a long time ago. Um,
I think you're at Minneapolis because that's when I interviewed for my J position, and you were there. I remember
okay.
seeing like who's that
A really, really handsome individual.
guy?
Oh
He's so
man.
rugged. I just want to be
Yeah.
like him when I grow up.
Well, but you're talking about the degrees of separation. It's funny because I didn't expect it, but how many people I knew there, right? And
Yeah,
we both got a background in campus rec and in different capacities. But I was there and I was like, seeing people, you're like, why the heck are you here? And they're looking at me like, why
yeah.
are you here?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, at this point now in my career, it's like going to a family reunion.
yeah,
So,
it
but
does that's a special feeling in and of itself, right?
it's definitely is. So
Yeah. So what is your favorite part about what you do, or what are some favorite things about what you do?
working with college students every day. Uh, this university, I mean, what impressed me the most about this university is students are. I mean, like I said, I have an engineering degree. I don't think I'm an idiot, but these kids are so smart. And I've been here 12 years, and I've seen like a lot of the things people have done since they graduated, and it's always impressive. So the
Yeah.
students are probably the thing I love most about my job.
It's I look at former students, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it may be, and the things they're doing in their life, and sometimes it's adorable, and sometimes you're full of pride for them, and all that other stuff, right?
Yeah,
And I think about that, as far as and I don't know about you, but it kind of keeps you going, you know,
it definitely does. So
you know,
so
because I'm sure with like it's a struggle. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of hard hours, and you got to find that motivation.
and they're definitely my motivation. So
So before I leave, any last nuggets or pieces of wisdom for folks in the Parks and Rec profession, whether it be campus rec or otherwise?
I would say, like I said, never paint yourself in a corner. Try to get as many experiences as possible. Uh, don't be afraid to leave your comfort zone. Uh, I'm a, 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 a Georgia boy from a small town. and I decided to do a study abroad in Mexico. I'm not fluent in Spanish, and so never be afraid to leave your comfort zone. I mean, I decided to go to Western Illinois, Macomb, Illinois.
And who did
So obviously, I'm not afraid of leaving my comfort zone. So never be afraid of leaving your comfort zone, because you will grow not only as professionally but also as a person. So
and you never know who you might meet.
yeah, you never know.
Yeah. Well, Mr. White, thank you so much. I feel odd because I know when I call you Mr. White, sometimes I think about your dad. You said that's my dad when I called you that one time, but
Yeah, like I said, I'm about to turn 40 next month, so
so
I
you're
guess
Mr.
I'm
White.
Mr. White now.
uh, and I know we talked about kids before we started the recording, but as we talk about like our kiddos in the dating scene and meeting all, I was just like, gosh, I'm getting old. Just even
Every
considering,
day.
right? So
Every day is a reminder. Like sometimes I forget because I work with college students all the time. So sometimes I forget that I'm getting old, and I like they turn in the application and I see when they were born, or they said something about when they were born. I'm like, oh my
right, gosh, I remember talking to a student and I mentioned the word Y2K, and they were like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "Whoa."
I was born. That's the year I was born.
Yeah. I was like, man, because that was such a big deal in life, right?
It was
Uh,
people thought the world was gonna end,
yeah.
and look at us now.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
back, man.
well, Mr. White, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate you taking the time. And then, as always, if you ever need anything, you let me know.
It's always good talking to you, Dr. Bradley.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Mike. Have a good one, man.
Bye bye.